And a good Thursday midday. Roger Hill of Weathering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This is the VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. First things first, we're looking at a heat wave, of course, along the eastern seaboard and up into parts of New England, adjacent Canada. Dew point temperatures this morning are already basically in the low 70s. This is bumping up air temperatures, or heat indices actually, that get into the low and mid 90s today. This is our last day for this, so a heat advisory is in effect through about 7 o'clock this evening. Now, tomorrow will also be another fairly hot day. Heat indices not quite as warm, but still in the mid 80s to near 90 in some locations during the day on Friday. We're looking at a little bit of a cool-off regime. This is as moisture in the form of clouds will begin to cast shadows and cool things off. Also, some rain shower and thunderstorm activity that's going to creep into far western Vermont, and eventually during the evening hours this is going to cross, it looks like, mainly northern areas of the state. 1 or 2 thunderstorms have the possibility of becoming strong to locally severe. See the latest heads up, and another heads up will be issued accordingly a little bit later on this afternoon. In the meantime, we're also looking at what is Hurricane Category 2 Hurricane Lee. That's in a rapid spin-up mode over some excessively warm temperatures, sea surface temperature anomalies that are running well above normal. It's pretty hot this time of year anyway. This is during the peak of the hurricane season in the Atlantic. So we're looking for a 4 and a 5, and then we'll see what happens down the road a piece. But the latest track, of course, National Hurricane Center is going to take it kind of west of Bermuda, between the goalposts, as I like to call it, between Cape Hatteras, my old stomping grounds at the Hatteras Outer Banks, and Bermuda. So the forecast track will take it somewhere just about due north, and then eventually just off the New England coast. There could be impacts for coastal parts of Maine, certainly the best chances for basically Nova Scotia and into the Canadian Maritimes and so on and so forth. We're going to be on the weak side of that, but on the rainy side of the system. Still, we'll be watching it. Any leftward track movement will be problematic, but this is going to be well around the corner. We're talking probably not this coming weekend, but basically the weekend after. So we got quite a few days to watch this, and we'll be watching Lee and its track for some time to come. In the meantime, a gradual cool-off is going to take place. We still have a very wet air mass that's going to be in the area as we head into the early part of next week, and it looks like just about a daily dose of showers, and through about Sunday, daily doses, or maybe even into Monday, daily doses of shower and thunderstorm activity. Let's take a look at the computer modeling world. On the right side, we have the GFS ensemble. On the left-hand side, we have the European model. And watching that as showers and thunderstorms begin to creep on in, you can see basically by 0Z or about 8 o'clock this evening, some shower and thunderstorm activity is just getting into western areas. So this is going to be a late arrival as it looks, but needless to say, the shower and thunderstorm threat will happen probably after sometime around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this afternoon in far western areas, namely the Champlain Valley, and then continue to proceed and track across the region. Now, this is during the overnight period. It looks like we still could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm cell, mainly up near the Canadian border and mostly into Quebec. This then refires up as we get into the afternoon hours on Friday. This is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're starting to see the makeover of shower and thunderstorm activity, a little more widely distributed. And there is a possibility of 1 or 2 isolated strong to severe thunderstorms during the day tomorrow, Friday as well. That then kind of winds on down during the overnight period. It's kind of a slow process. By eventually on Saturday morning, things are dry, and then we repeat the process. Now note this zone of convection is a little further to the south and east. So I'm thinking northern parts of Vermont on Saturday, not expecting to be impactful in terms of any kind of severe weather or strong thunderstorm activity in terms of winds, but certainly lightning, and this will affect mainly central and southern areas of the state as it looks. Now the next robust flare-up will happen on Sunday. And note that this is a tropical storm, category probably 4 or 5 Lee that'll be taking a track. And well-developed hurricanes have a tendency to move everything to the north. And this is going to be the case here. And you can see we're back into more robust shower and thunderstorm activity for Sunday afternoon. Maybe not severe, but certainly fairly wet a pretty juiced up air mass, squeezing out that rainfall. Then we watch Lee kind of head toward the Bahamas and then take a track. Now this is Wednesday, so we're talking beyond the period already. On Wednesday and Thursday, we have what we call a pre. A pre is a kind of a condition of a lot of moisture out ahead of a tropical cyclone. And Lee is pretty powerful, so it's really going to start ruling the roost and moving weather systems around just a little bit. But needless to say, this is where Lee's latest track is. Now, of course, the GFS ensemble is not showing that. It's not really on top of it. However, if you look at the Canadian model here, that's what we're looking at here. Pretty decent agreement overall going into Nova Scotia, and so on and so forth. Well beyond the period, we're talking basically not this weekend, but the weekend after. The GFS ensemble model looks like this, and of course this is our dry weather coming to an end with a decent dry stretch and of course the very hot weather. However, things are going to moisten up as we get into shower and thunderstorm activity, and you can see just about every day, not a lot of changes going on with the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. This blue line here, this could be potentially Lee, where the GFS ensemble is trying to capture some heavy rainfall, but that's well around the corner. We're talking basically after 7 to 13 days out. This is the total QPF measured by the GFS ensemble. And the medium range line here, you can see that we're up close to about 2 inches over the course of this entire period. If you look at the latest deterministic model of the GFS, it really goes nuts, and that would be moisture associated with Hurricane Lee. In terms of precipitable water, we have quite a bit of moist conditions that'll continue, about 1.5 precipitable water metrics through what looks like probably about Sunday or so. Then thereafter, things begin to slowly fall back, and we're starting to see a little bit of a drying out before potentially some more moisture works in out ahead of Lee and that pre. So with all the heat and humidity, we're looking at the convective available potential energy, giving us like 2,400 capes. Tomorrow, a little bit less capes, but more robust moisture. If we get some sunshine, things are really going to go to town as it looks. And then through the day on Saturday as well as into Sunday, we're looking at the possibility of showers and thunderstorms. That's the capes. Putting cape over shear, looks like this. We're looking at relatively low shear. However, we get close to 30 knots especially over the weekend. So maybe Friday into Saturday, we'll have to keep a close eye on that for potential robust or organized thunderstorm activity with higher wind fields aloft. Then that kind of falls back, and then we're looking at maybe another uptick at some point, but nothing concerning. Weather Prediction Center total QPF the next 7 days looks like this, and you can see some of these amounts are rather hefty. We're looking at 3 inches and getting close to 4 inches here. This would be a combination of the fields of this zone of convection, daily convection, adding rainfall, and also probably some likelihood of an approaching tropical system. Looking at 2-meter temperature anomalies, you can see we're well above normal as to be expected. And this is the MOS next 5 days of maximum temperatures. And this here is 3 days later, so above normal, cooling eventually to near neutral or near normal. What's already getting folks a lot of attention right now, of course, is Lee. And as of 5 o'clock this morning, we were a hurricane, max winds about 80 with higher gusts, and movement was west-northwest at about 13 miles an hour, taking a track somewhere like this. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.